was the first reaction where you're like, okay, let's pack our stuff and leave, or let's check the site and see what's going on actually, or?
Let's see if when it happened at night, we thought it was just a regular train derailment. We didn't think nothing of it. We didn't know what was going on, what was on it. When we woke up the next morning, when we had our symptoms of the burning in the throat, my kid, not feeling well, swelling up, we decided just to pack up and leave. We did not know those chemicals on the train. We did not know what was causing it. We just knew we had to get out of there for the safety and well-being of our family.
Yeah, and very sorry to hear about the health effects. How is it now? Is it like, did you get some medical checks, or if you can share, like, I heard from many people actually that they are feeling not great even like right now.
See, once we left the area on Saturday, the day after the incident, pretty much the whole entire day we felt crappy. The burning sensation in our throat was there, but then after like a day being away from that, it went away. We recently just went down there about a week and a half ago, getting the rest of our stuff out of there. Since we moved out of the area, we actually somehow got bronchitis by moving the stuff around. The air particles, whatever was in the house that's saturated, sitting there during that time when it was moving, it caused bronchitis. But we started feeling better quickly afterwards. The doctors, the medical profession really was not trained in this area for this. That's why they keep telling people that they can't do blood work, they can't do this, can't do that, because there's no real testing for it. There's symptoms that's caused by the chemicals if you look it up, but they can't technically say, hey, this is caused by it, because there's no studies. So it's kind of one of those things that people can say it's caused by the train, and it most likely is, but that's the only variable that happened that can cause such an incident, though there's no actual proof. And that's the hard part about people, knowing that this is caused by this, but there's no real way to tell. And there's no long-term studies either. So, I mean, you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, if you can get bronchitis just from moving stuff around, and get burning your throat, your eyes watering up, your rashes, you don't know what's going to happen to your body long-term. And that's the scary part, is not knowing. And medical professionals telling you that there's nothing they can do right now. They can just sit and wait, and at that point, you're just going to be panicking and anxiety and all that stuff for years, not knowing what's going to happen. And some people are stuck down there, and that's the unfortunate part, because they can't afford moving, they can't afford leaving because they don't have the fundings for it.
That's terrible, especially also the reaction of the some of the agencies, right, of the company which caused the accident. And I even heard that, for example, the EPA didn't give to people sort of accurate information about what is going on. How would you evaluate this feedback you had after when it happened from like the company, from the agencies of the government?
See, it was more when they lifted the evacuation. People was relieved. I worked at the hotel. People was automatically packing the stuff up, leaving. It was not until like a day later where there was a letter that was released that I found out by looking on Facebook, the EPA and the Norfolks, about the other chemicals, not the vinyl chloride, the other chemicals that was on the train, that the symptoms that people was feeling was caused by this. And people did not know about this. But people were relieved to just go home because the train could go through the town. That's the main reason why the evacuation was lifted. So the train can go through, get their product from point A to point B, and people really did not know the full outcome of what was spilled until a day after the evacuation was lifted. So people was walking right back into a mess, not knowing that, hey, one of the chemicals that was spilled could cause all these symptoms that they was feeling, the burning, the rashes, and everything like that. And for the government, for the politics, and the train people to allow this just so they can run the train back through, is kind of sickening and kind of angering. Kind of makes me angry a little bit about that. Sometimes people need to realize that profit over people's health should be into consideration. That sometimes that you got to just take a step back and worry about the long-term effects, not just about what it's going to make you the money the next day. And for the people that did not know, I feel bad for. Me and my wife, my kids stayed at the hotel because we didn't know what was happening. We own the property lot. We own a property lot in East Palestine, and from when I went down there was like dead fish, toads, and all that stuff in the creeks. And so them saying the water's fine, that the air is fine, all that stuff, it was kind of shocking that after like 4 or 5 days that it's magically all sun and done and over with. I wish the politics was releasing information that was released information before people left the hotels and went back to their home, so people would know the full outcome of what was happening before they went back.
But do you feel now, for example, that you are well informed about the effects and what can happen to you?
Not really. EPA says one thing, independent says another, politics says another. I mean, there's so many unanswered questions that you don't know.
Okay, so you are still not sure about like what is really happening, right? What can happen to you in there?
I mean, still very unsure. I mean, right now, recently on Facebook, when JD just came by, pointing out that the soil is still there, and they just have a tarp over it, and it's been raining, snowing, and once they get on top of the soil, it can once again go back into the soil. So you got contaminated soil that's on land that can go right back into it, which all the work they're trying to do at the train track is going to be to no avail, useless. I mean, you're gonna have another contaminated spot that we gotta basically take care of, and it's gonna just be one spot after another. And the problem will never be resolved unless you just take care of it right away. Someone needs to step up and just do it.
And were you thinking to get like some testing on your own, or did anyone offer you to actually get the testing for your place?
Once again, it's one of those things that people will state that they are knowledgeable in this area, but no one really is. I mean, vinyl chloride and the other chemicals out there, to be honest, no one really knows the long-term effects. So they can take testing, they can see the white film or the film that's on top of your products, your household items, they can see that, but they can't really tell you what that film will do. They can give you suggestions, they can tell you that it's perfectly okay, though really no one really knows besides the EPA, the UEPA, and those people. I mean, there are studies and independent studies from Texas and Texas University is not adding up. Then someone needs to come together and try to figure out what is actually true and what is actually not, because the two different studies is causing panic and confusement in the city, and people just need answers. And that's one thing that really hasn't been clear yet. Is there air toxic in the air? Is there long-term effects? Everyone just passing to one person to another, not really giving full answers.
And the Senator JD today mentioned that United States has enough money to actually do something with it, but a lot of the money goes to places where they shouldn't go, maybe like 120 billion to Ukraine. Do you think that's justifiable that this huge amount of money goes abroad while people here don't have actually the means to take care of their lives?
I think there's a lot of fault in a lot of areas. One of it is the fundings, where the money goes. That is correct. I mean, the second thing is you could also put this on Governor DeWine from failing to tell multiple cities that they're transferring contaminated soil to their city. This all could have been avoided if he just corresponded with certain cities that, hey, we're sending truckloads over there, and get a yes or no. Now he burned 2 bridges. I mean, without telling people. I mean, those 2 things could be avoided. So I mean, it could be on Governor DeWine, it could be on President Biden, it could be on the fundings not being dispersed correctly. There's so many faults that people can put a blame to. I mean, you can put the blame to Norfolk, though putting I don't really put a blame to anybody. I just think everybody that is making mistakes, the politics, the governor, the president, they just need to all come up and find a solution and just get this thing taken care of. and one of the things is not really the politics that should be taking care of this. The politics are supposed to be the one directing. Alan, Norfolk, and his people are the ones supposed to be trying to spearhead and getting us out of there. The politics are just there to redirect and to correspond through state to state to make sure that's okay. There's multiple waste dump sites that he could go to if he just corresponds.
And two last question, please, if you don't mind. What do you think about Trump coming in versus Biden not showing up? Does it give you any kind of reaction or emotions?
I think it's all a political. I mean, anybody and everybody who comes in there is for a political gain, but also there for the people a little bit. I'm not really for either one. I mean, either one has their own kind of faults. Do appreciate that Trump coming in there and at least speaking, trying to get some words out. He does have some political power to move. He has a follower, a nice group of following people that could make some movements. One thing is, President Biden hasn't shown up yet. I mean, maybe he should send somebody over just to see what the area is instead of just sitting behind the desk and giving all the money to Ukraine. I mean, that's the only thing I have to say is sometimes you got to step up and trying to find solution. I mean, I know he wants to support Ukraine for some odd reason, but they're their own country. He has his own crisis right here that he has to take care of. I mean, East Palestine is not the only area that has been affected by Norfolk. There's Sandusky, there is Springfield, there is multiple different other ones that I'm not 100% sure of and certain of. But there's multiple different ones that are out there that unfortunately hasn't been answered. And that's one thing that the president, the governor, should be all fully aware and trying to find answers of what's going on from that aspect. Safety measures should definitely be taken and should definitely find a more productive way than having so many derailments per year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. So one of the priorities now at the moment. And if I can ask last question about your properties. I know you mentioned that you have there houses, right, or place. What's your plan now? Do you know, or are you waiting for a while how it sort of plays out?
So currently we try to sell the property we bought 2 years ago. Unfortunately, that was on auction, so we're fixing up and trying renting it out. But currently we have the property, we have we're paying a mortgage or rent, 2 gas, 2 electric, 2 water, just 2 of everything pretty much. And then we have the property lot that's pretty much useless. There's a creek in the back, no one really wants to buy it. It's always contaminated in the back or some other question that makes the buyer not interested in the property. So it's kind of a struggle. Though it's one of the things we're trying to fix the property up and trying to get it rentable so we can try to at least make some kind of profit out of it until we are able to get rid of it. But we're definitely not going back. There's too many unanswered questions, for sure.
Okay, thank you so much for your time. It was a real great pleasure to spoke with you.
Not a problem.
Thank you.
Yeah.